C'est bien. OK, ben, merci. Bon, bienvenue à cette séance ordinaire numéro 5, 27 mai 2025, donc ouverture de la séance. So, welcome to this meeting number 5 of May 27, 2025. So, opening of the meeting, adoption of the agenda. So, there's a minor change in the agenda. 6.11 is being removed, postponed. Donc, le point 6.1.1 est retiré. Le restant demeure pareil, donc on adopte l'agenda avec cette modification-là. On livre au 3.1.1 qui est lecture d'adoption du procès verbal numéro 4 du 29 avril. So 3.1.1 is reading and adoption of the minutes of number 24 of April 29th. And there's no changes that have been asked, so it's adopted as is. Donc il n'y a pas de modification là, qui est adoptée telle quelle. Donc, 3.2.1 qui est l'arrondissement de Lennoxville, le comité consultatif de Visionnez, c'est le dépôt du procès verbal du 18 mars. So 3.2.1 is the Borough of Lennoxville Planning Advisory Committee. It's just a tabling of the minutes. And we're up to point number 4, which is a period, question period of the public. Donc, on est rendu au point numéro 4, qui est la période de questions du public. So the floor is open. So if you need to have a question, you lift your hand and give your name and your street or organizations you come from, and you're welcome to ask a question. Donc, vous levez votre main, vous nommez le nom de votre rue peut-être, puis ou l'organisme que vous représentez, puis on s'occupe de la question. Qu'est-ce qu'il y a des questions du public? Any questions from the public? Yes, sir.
My name is Phil Taylor. Live on Convent Street in Lennoxville since 1958. I have a little bit of experience. I like this town. What I have to question is a little bit trivial, I suppose, but it's regarding the use of construction machinery in this town. Things have changed a lot. I can remember years ago a man painting the church with a long aluminum extension ladder across the street. He went to move the ladder and it hit the two-phase on the primary line, and the top of the ladder disappeared in a white flash, and the man was not hurt. Oh, fortunately, I think that's divine intervention. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But today they have machines, I don't know the official name, I call it a nacelle, where a man climbs into a bucket and he's elevated. These things are designed for safety. There's a set of controls in the bucket and another set of controls down on the ground. There's supposed to be 2 people, and it's supposed to be fail-safe. So like nothing can go wrong, like an unsinkable ship. A man was killed a few years ago, just down Queen Street with a nacelle. And 2 years ago, another man was killed with one up near Compton. So, I just wish people would slow down a little bit. The thing that bothers me is, shouldn't these machines be parked when they're not in use? They seem to consistently leave them high in the sky, which I find to be an incredible eyesore, if not a hazard. I suppose safety regulations come under the province and all kinds of higher government authorities, but the municipality can have sway. I mean, we do have municipal inspectors. Can a little bit of persuasion be given to these people? It doesn't cost anything, just to park the thing at night. And leave it up in the air for weeks and months at a time.
There's a risk. Well, construction is not jurisdiction of municipalities, but security maybe it is. So what we'll do, we'll take your information. If you can give us your phone number and your address, and we'll inquire about this and see what we can do about it. So it's the only answer I can give you right now, because we'll need to know where you're talking about is probably on Conley there, the new construction there, but is that, you don't have to be specific about your request there, so we'll ask you to give us your personal information so we can contact you on that.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just inquiring as to, oh, there's copies of the agenda.
Yes, right there.
Okay.
Any other questions? Y a-t-il d'autres questions du public?
Complaint. It's not a question, it's a complaint.
Well, you're at the complaint department. Go ahead.
Here again,
Yes.
same complaint. I won't give up. I live on Archie Mitchell,
Can you state your name because it's recorded?
and I want,
State your name
oh,
and
my
the street you come from. Yes.
name's Susan Black.
Yes.
I'm at 117 Archie Mitchell Street in Lennoxville or Sugar. I like to walk down there. And number one, the cars are going way too fast. I think they figure they're still on the highway.
Mhm.
And there's no signage up for speed limit anywhere there. And then they park on both sides of the street. It's worse in winter, of course. I'm not sure where I'm supposed to walk. The cars coming both ways, cars parked on both sides of the street. Where do I go?
Good question. Yes.
I would like a sidewalk on one side. There's lots of room. There are children waiting to go to school there, standing on the road.
So my question to you is, you said it's not the first time you put the request in. What answers did you get last time?
No, I would never get a sidewalk.
Did you, yeah, well, a sidewalk.
That's all. That
Yes.
was it. The other thing,
But-
when they put out the things for recycling and garbage and stuff, that's another.
Yeah, another obstruction.
I had to hide in behind a recycling bin one time, because I was gonna get,
Mhm.
because there was a snowplow also coming up the road. But
So-
they don't slow down.
So,
Can we not have some speed bump?
so your main concern is speed.
Yeah, I'd like
Okay.
some speed bump.
There's a procedure for that type of requests. I've got, no, seriously, this goes through a process and it goes through, so according to what I'm listening right now is that you didn't go through this procedure last time, since you didn't have an answer, because normally you get a technical answer to your question. So I recommend you go through the procedure, that way it really gets registered and that's get followed through the process.
Okay,
So that way you get an answer.
Who do I go to?
Well, there's a few ways to do it. You could go by the, on the website of the city and fill in a form. Or either you can go downstairs here at the reception and they'll can fill in the form for you. Or there's Mr. Gino here who can assist you to fill this form. Because that's a proper way of doing it, is that if you go through the procedure, then you cannot not get an answer. They have to reply to you. And we do have a procedure for all kinds of requests like that, and it technically studied. And then you get your answer, and then we know what we can do with the thing. Because speed bumps are something we're testing on Molten Hill. I don't know if you noticed, if you've been on Molten Hill. Well, so that's a pilot project. So we can see what we're getting out of
I've
it.
seen new sidewalks made, yes.
Pardon me?
I've seen new sidewalks put out in Lennoxville.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in some locations, yes.
yes.
So
But I'm asking you, where am I supposed to walk? Or are pedestrians not supposed to go down there?
I cannot answer that security wise because that's our services. That's a technical question that our services will answer you. But like I said, and just to maybe give you a leeway, is that the procedure requires 5 signatures from neighbors, okay, that agree with you, and then you can fill it in, and then it becomes a real, to the procedure. Because
I've been here longer than that, gentleman. I first came to Lennoxville in 1956.
yes. So the problem has been occurring, I guess, more lately than
Oh,
the
yes, I
speeding.
mean, the speed is unbelievable.
Yeah, but it's
I
not 20
stand
years.
on College and look at that thing that says how fast they're going into
Yes.
50. I
Yes,
saw 70 many times.
yes,
70,
yes.
come on.
Because two ways to deal with speed. Like if you wanted to do something right here, right now, it's called the police. That's one thing, and they will park somebody there. They'll have sporadic parking and checking, and that's one way of doing it. And like the speed, les afficheurs de vitesse, the speed, les afficheurs.
Yeah,
Anyways, those speed indicators,
yeah.
they are renowned to help. Now, whether it helps there or not, I don't know right here, right now, but you're saying no, so that's another.
I'm often there, I look at very often.
Yeah.
Just not once in a while.
So,
And I can see on the main highway maybe, but not when you're going through the buildings and people. And I noticed no children ride their bikes there anymore.
okay,
Hello. They could not stop. There's no way they could stop.
so I recommend you fill the form and go through the process there. That way you
Okay.
will get some
Okay, I'll
results.
fill in the form.
There's still signs downstairs.
Oh, yeah, there's another thing, there's another program just.
So I would think the proper procedure was to ask the council to approach, I think we're to go through the local council, to ask the town of Sherburne to install sidewalks in that area, and that would solve a lot of problems.
Can you stick your name for the recording?
And Robert Black.
Yeah.
Archie Mitchell Street.
Or at least it's people. It's not anymore.
But, when I talk about the police, and one thing that really works is if it's always the same people that speed, and they have a schedule and they go through at a certain time,
Oh, there's still
that's
many,
information that you can pass on to the
many,
police.
many of them. It's not just one.
Because the police, if you call the police, you put a complaint in, they'll send somebody, but not necessarily at the hours where you think it's
I just
most
have to
busy.
tell you, I watched the police once, because you're supposed to come up Oxford, stop, and then come up in Mitchell. They did
Yes.
not stop at the stops.
Yeah.
That was a police voice.
But they still have to do their job. If you don't call it in, they won't do anything. If you call it in, then you get your call registered, and you can tell the neighbors to call it in. So, and that usually, they're usually pretty efficient when you tell them between, 3 and 5 o'clock, there's a lot of speeding. They'll go there at that specific time, and they'll have action. Okay, any other questions? Est-ce qu'il y a d'autres questions du public? No? Okay, so we'll proceed with the agenda. 6.1 is point 6, which is dossier des comités des groupes de travail du Conseil d'arrondissement, dont le comité consultatif d'urbanisme. So 612, PII requests arterial commercial site planning and architectural integration plan on Queen Street. So this is Mr. McLean's request there. So go through the motions here. Recommendations from the CCU. Okay, I'll have to read this in French because it's all in French there. Donc, je demande d'approbation PIA, aire d'implantation d'intégration architecturale commerciale extérieure de la Queen, 104 rue Queen. Considérant qu'une demande de permis sous le numéro certificat 24-02637 a été déposée pour les travaux d'agrandissement du 206 mètres carrés en lieu et place de la partie du bâtiment reliant le presbytère à l'église, ainsi que divers travaux de rénovation extérieure du presbytère et de la façade nord latérale gauche de l'église, soit remplacer des balcons et des quasi-totalité des fenêtres. Pourquoi je vous lis les considérants? C'est parce qu'il y a des particularités qui vont ressortir. So, in the considerations here, there's a few particular things that came out of the CCU. So, this is a council. The CCU is another committee that studied the situation. Donc, considérant que le projet a été présenté au Conseil local en patrimoine le 27 mars 2025 et que celui-ci a émis une recommandation favorable au comité de démolition pour une démolition partielle afin de permettre un agrandissement. Considérant que le projet a été présenté au comité de démolition le 26 mai 2025 et que celui-ci a approuvé la démolition partielle afin de permettre un agrandissement sous condition de l'approbation de la présente demande par le Conseil d'arrondissement de Lennoxville. Considérant que les membres du comité consultatif d'urbanisme de l'arrondissement de Lennoxville favorisent lors des travaux de réparation la préservation du style architectural authentique des bâtiments patrimoniaux ou l'amélioration du cachet ancien des bâtiments ayant une valeur patrimoniale mitigée. Que les membres favorisent entre autres, la reproduction des composantes architecturales prédominantes des bâtiments patrimoniaux du secteur. Considérant que malgré les recommandations faites aux requérants auprès d'une première présentation du dossier à la séance du comité consultatif d'urbanisme de l'arrondissement de Lennoxville tenue le 25 février 2025, aucune modification a été apportée au dossier. Donc, la résolution adoptée à l'unanimité par le CCU, le Conseil, que le plan d'implantation et d'intégration architecturale pour les travaux d'agrandissement de 206 mètres carrés au lieu et place de la partie du bâtiment reliant le presbytère et l'église ainsi que différents travaux de rénovation extérieure du presbytère de la façade nord de l'église, soit le remplacement des balcons et la quasi-totalité des fenêtres, soit refusés parce que les travaux ne respectent pas les critères de préservation du style architectural authentique des bâtiments patrimoniaux ou l'amélioration du cachet ancien des bâtiments ayant une valeur patrimoniale mitigée et ne favorise pas la reproduction des composantes architecturales prédominantes des bâtiments patrimoniaux du secteur. So I'll repeat this part in English because that's the part that really concerns you guys. So, so what happens here is that all the renovations asked for that's okay. It's just the fact that the CCU, that's the committee that decided this, they want more adaptation to the building that's already there. They're not requiring big changes, but just an adaptation so that it doesn't clash out as much as it does presently at the presentation. So this, what it says is that we did request that, we didn't get return on that. We got the same project presented to us, so it was the same arguments that were used last time there. So those are the arguments that came up at this issue, and that's why I've insisted on reading them, because normally we don't read them, we just go through the motions, but I mean, it's just that particularity that's been questioned by the CCU. So if we go to the sommaire, and the sommaire, what it says, and this is us here at council, so the sommaire, we're taking their study and answering it to it. So donc, what we're saying is that que le plan d'implantation et d'intégration architecturale pour les travaux d'aménagement de, I'm repeating myself there, 206 mètres carrés en lieu et place de la partie du bâtiment reliant le presbytère à l'église ainsi que les divers travaux de rénovation extérieure du presbytère et de la façade nord latérale gauche de l'église, soit le remplacement des balcons et de la quasi-totalité des fenêtres soit accepté. So what we're saying here, we're accepting the recommendation from the CCU. So in other words, they refuse, so we sort of have to accept that as a procedure. So this is the conclusion of that point there. So we'll move on to 711. Donc, 7.1, qui est le dépôt suivi des interventions au conseil d'arrondissement. So 7.11 is the tabling of follow-up to the interventions at the Borough Council meeting on April 29th, 2025. Mr. Guerrero.
It's just the tabling of the follow-ups of the different interventions that were made concerning the complaints or questions that we had here at the question period. So everything that was made by our clerks is written in there. So this document is always public almost immediately after the council, so you're free to consult it. Alors, c'est simplement un dépôt des différentes interventions de nos équipes par rapport aux questions qui ont été soulevées ici et complaintes qui ont été soulevées ici. Donc, ça liste toutes les interventions qui ont été faites. Ce sont des documents qui sont publics, accessibles à tous après le conseil.
Merci. 7.2.1, assistance financière non récurrente à l'organisme Action Saint-François pour l'organisation d'activités de nettoyage dans l'arrondissement de Lennoxville. So 7.2.1 was his non-recurring financial assistance to organization Action Saint-François for a rubbish cleaning activity hosted in Lennoxville. Madame Scott.
Oui, on va donner 600 de nos fonds dédiés à l'Action Saint-François et l'activité aura lieu le 14 juin de 9h à midi et on va se rejoindre ici au stade. Oui, ben, on va à l'extérieur de la salle Amédée-Beaupoint. So we are giving $600 to Action Saint-François to come help us with our big cleanup in Lennoxville, June 14th from 9 to noon, and we'll be meeting it outside at Amédée-Beaupoint.
So we're up to point 11, messages from the members of council. Ms. Garcia.
Thank you. The lantern is out. There's lots of information in there. If anybody hasn't received it, there's some available downstairs and there's some at the Lennoxville Library too. There's usually some people in town who don't receive one, but we always print extra so that they can be picked up here or let me know and I can deliver it. The next big day in town is Friendship Day, which is June 7th. From 10 to 3. The Historical Society will be serving cake and ice cream from noon to 3. There will be the same activities as usual, but there won't be a parade or fireworks. And I believe that they're still looking for some volunteers. And if anybody wants to rent a table, it's the Women's Center is taking care of it this year, so you can contact them. Donc, la lanterne a été publiée la semaine passée. Si tu n'as pas reçu une copie, ils sont toujours disponibles en bas au bureau du secrétaire. La journée de l'amitié va être le 7 juin de 10h à 3h. Il y aura, si quelqu'un a besoin d'une table, il faut juste parler avec le Centre des femmes qui organise la réservation des tables cette année. Le 9 juin, ce sera l'assemblée annuelle de la Comité de sécurité et développement social à 9h au quartier général de l'entrepreneur. The annual assembly for the Security and Social Development Commission is June 9th at 9 o'clock at the General Quarter for Entrepreneurship on Wellington South. And I just have a few thank yous. I would like to thank everybody who helped with the organization of the monument from the conception all the way through to the unveiling. It looks great and there were a lot of people involved and it's just nice to finally have it there. And I would also like to thank the people at the hut for organizing a talk last Friday night from Dr. Marc Dauphin, who was an Army doctor in Kandahar in 2009. And he had the best record for keeping people alive to get them to Germany before they came back here. He's an author, so his books are out there if anybody's interested in them. J'aimerais remercier tout le monde qui ont aidé avec le développement de le monument pour les pompiers volontaires. Ça a pris des années et il y avait beaucoup de gens impliqués. Et le dévoilement, on était vraiment chanceux ce matin-là, on a parlé de pluie et c'est vraiment beau maintenant avec les tulipes et les fleurs. Et j'aimerais remercier les gens au Army, Navy, Air Force parce qu'ils ont organisé une conférence vendredi passé avec Dr. Marc Dauphin, qui était un médecin dans l'armée à Kandahar en 2009. Il a déjà écrit des livres et c'était vraiment intéressant et touchant. Donc, merci pour l'organisation. Merci.
Merci, Monsieur Villaragino.
So just to join Ms. Garfat on the congratulations on everything that happened with our firefighters monument. I think this was the conclusion of a beautiful and sometimes hard adventure to make everything coming together to make it done. So congratulations to everyone involved. Je voulais simplement prendre un petit moment aussi pour appuyer ce que Mme Garfat disait par rapport au monument. Ça a été vraiment une aventure longue et parfois complexe de faire venir tous les éléments ensemble pour enfin réaliser ce monument. Donc, félicitations à tout le monde qui était impliqué. Also, a short message also to congratulate the people who were there to organize La Fête du Vélo. So we had people from all over Sherbrooke coming here on bikes. And so to celebrate bicycle and the fact that, you know, it's a mean of transportation that's getting more and more popular in town. And so for me, it was beautiful to see them, some of them coming to see me and saying, you live in a beautiful corner of paradise here. So it was nice to receive that kind of compliment. And I'd like to share it with all the Lennoxville community. Running from the 31st of May until the 4th of June, this is the musical An Impossible Dream, a Broadway review by the musical departments at Bishops. So you're all more than welcome. The hours varied. On weekends, it's at 2 o'clock, and on the evenings during the week, it's at 8, if my memory is correct. Also, the public market is opening this very weekend on Saturday, so between 10 to 1. You're all welcome. This is a beautiful opportunity to see everyone, and there's going to be the Western Festival also coming up fairly soon, normally by the end of June. Oui, et ça, je ne l'avais pas dit en français. Donc, félicitations à tout le monde qui était impliqué dans l'organisation de la fête du vélo. Ça a été très plaisant de voir toutes ces belles personnes venir d'un peu partout de Sherbrooke pour venir visiter notre arrondissement. Il y a plusieurs qui nous ont dit qu'on vivait dans un coin de paradis. Donc, merci beaucoup donc à ces personnes-là. Puis, je tiens à partager le compliment avec tous les résidents de Lennoxville. Aussi, ils vont avoir notre comédie musicale ici du département de comédie musicale de l'Université Bishops, An Impossible Dream, a Broadway Review, qui va avoir de durée du 31 mai au 4 juin prochain. Les heures varient. La fin de semaine, c'est à 2 heures de l'après-midi. Durant la semaine, c'est à 8 heures le soir, si mes informations sont correctes. Aussi, par rapport au marché public de Lennoxville, ça commence ce samedi prochain, de 10 heures à 13 heures. Donc, ça va être bien plaisant de revoir toute la communauté se réunir pour acheter des bons légumes. Voilà, c'est tout.
Bien, merci beaucoup. Je veux aussi remercier l'organisation pour la fête du vélo. J'ai participé, j'ai fait du vélo, je suis allé jusqu'à Sherbrooke, puis je suis revenu avec eux autres. Puis il y avait quand même un bon groupe de personnes. Je ne sais pas, je n'ai pas compté. Ouais, 300 personnes, ça fait que c'était un bel événement pour Lennoxville, ça a amené beaucoup de business à Lennoxville, puis c'était un petit peu ça le but du Square Queen, c'est là qu'on s'est rencontrés. So la fête du vélo was really appreciated. I want to thank the organizers for that because it brought a lot of people to Lennoxville, and I think it creates synergy. Anyways, people discovered our Samuel Gratham bike trailers. A lot of people didn't know about it. Second message, encore Thrift has a rush sale, under the tent sale, I should say. So it's a Thrift's tent sale actually on the 6th and 7th of June. Donc le 6 et le 7 juin, encore Thrift font sur collège, là, ils font une vente sous la tente. Donc beaucoup de produits, je l'ai allé quelques fois, puis c'est très occupé. Troisième item que j'ai, je veux peut-être mentionner l'horaire des prochaines rencontres parce que ça change un peu de la normale, ça sort de la normale parce que les dates, normalement, c'est toujours le dernier mardi du mois, mais ça change de la normale, donc je veux quand même réitérer ces dates-là. Donc le 18 juin, c'est la prochaine rencontre. Le 8 juillet, au début de la fin du mois, le 26 août, le 23 septembre, puis le 3 octobre, et puis évidemment, après ça, on tombe en mois d'élection, donc vous allez pouvoir choisir votre prochain conseil. So I want to reiterate the next dates for our councils, because they're normally every end of month, Tuesday at the end of the month, but now it's been changed, so that's why I insist on repeating these dates. So the 18th of June, and it's always at 5 o'clock. 18th of June, 8th of July, 26th of August, 23rd of September, 3rd of October, and after that we are in electoral mode, so you'll be able to choose your next council. One last message. I want to get back on our monument, which was for me a very important historical moment. Setting up that monument because I mean there's quite a few heroes in there. I was reading the names on the monument and they're all the same size, but some of them could be bigger because we do have a few heroes on there, and that's why I think it was very important for us to commemorate these volunteer firefighters. No, these guys didn't get much of a salary and they just get their expenses paid. Fait que, tu sais, je remercie aussi Mme Garfield pour avoir participé au comité. Elle a tenu le dossier tout le long. So thank you for participating. And so, il y a des noms sur ce monument-là qui méritent très d'être plus haut parce qu'il y a quelques héros qui ont été inscrits dessus, puis je tiens à le mentionner. Donc, merci beaucoup. Donc, on s'est rendu au numéro 12, qui est la levée de l'Assemblée. So 12, which is the adjournment. Merci beaucoup. Thank you for coming.